So this is it. Welcome along to the final table of the PaddyPowerPoker.com Irish Open 2008. Months of preparation and thousands of qualification tournaments across the globe, all leading to this moment. 667 players began the tournament, and after 4 days of tension and excitement, we're down to just one final table. Now, last time we left you, we had 9 players, so let's have a look now at how we got down to those last 6.
Final table of 9. It was never going to be easy to get down to 6. Channing had the big stack and the run and gun, but it was always going to be tough stuff. John Keown, he pushed, and Kai Paulson finally woke up with a big slick to call, and all hopes of Bainbridge and the North back to County Down. A nice paycheck for John Keown, but just short of the final TV table. 8 left, and the Frenchman, Le Charvec, he had been so calm, so cool throughout this tournament. A little rattled, the re-raise with the pocket 8s, and Channing had enough chips to look him up with overcards. Bang, bang. Le Charvec just shy. The top 8 will give him a nice little check to take home. All going well for Neil, who cracked the 2 million mark with that pot. Karsten Yo, he hung on for 2 days straight, did the German. But the classic race, ace-queen versus the 3s, and Donal Norton playing the willing part of executioner to take us to our final 6, the televised table, and the young Tipperary man putting himself in position to make that run. For Karsten Yo, it's the knowledge that a great tournament and a lot of desire have to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, in seat 1, our chip leader with a chip count of 2,748,000 from Sunderland, England, Neil Channing.
I've got so many chips that I've got a lot of options. I can sit back if I want to and let a couple of people knock each other out and quietly move up the pay ladder without really doing anything. Or I could go really fast from the start and try and put pressure on people and knock people out.
In seat 2, with a chip count of 912,000 from Fakenham, England, Tim Blake.
I think the prestige is phenomenal. I mean, outside the World Series and maybe the EPT final, this is the biggie, you know, and to get this far is just a dream. You know, I was getting texts this morning saying, live the dream, and it's living the dream. You know, I'm not a professional player. I play for fun, but I play, you know, to win, obviously.
In seat 3, with a chip count of 716,000 from Norway, Kai Dino Paulson.
I have to double up, no question about it, and then play it from there and see how the table will work out. If there are any tight players, some nervous players. Neil Channing obviously have a big chip lead, so he's a man to watch out for, but if I double up, I fancy my chances.
In seat 4, with a chip count of 544,000 from Newcastle, England, Thomas Dunwoody.
Well, I've been short-stacked most of the way through the tournament, and I've played it pretty well. I'm not worried at the moment. You know, I'm only 2 double-ups away from almost chip lead. That's the way I play my game. You know, I'm playing to, when I put my chips in, I'm playing to win, playing to double through. You know.
In seat 5, with a chip count of 562,000 from Rotterdam, Holland, Edwin Tournier.
For me it means a lot, because I play now for 2 years poker now. It's the first big tournament I played, and immediately final, so it's a good result, I think.
And in seat 6, with a chip count of 1,164,000 from Tipperary, Ireland, the great Irish hope, Donal Norton.
I'm only playing poker a year now, and this is what I've hoped for since I started playing, so it would mean an awful lot to me, yeah. So I hope to do it. We'll see what happens, you know.
The moment is finally here. These 6 great players have battled their way through one of the toughest fields in world poker, and tonight one of them will be sitting all alone with all the chips, the title and €800,000 first prize.
After today, nothing will be the same for one of these 6 men. Will be Irish Open champion. Thrilled to be here with Pádraig Parkinson, Irish poker superstar. And Parg, the only thing that can temper the disappointment that you're not at this final table is being able to watch this historic moment with you.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic, Jesse. I mean, this has been a marvellous tournament. It's been pretty exciting for the last few days. It's going to build to a big climax here, and we've got several guys at this table who'd make great champions.
Well, talk about great champions. Neil Channing, big chip leader here, first hand. He certainly doesn't need a hand as good as Nines to be raising right now.
No, I've played with Channing quite a lot. He's a very aggressive player. He, as well as been a good tournament player. I mean, he's an excellent cash player. So, I mean, this guy plays Texas Hold'em 10, 12 hours a day. I mean, depends on how long he can stay awake. He's got to be a big favourite here today. He's got a chip lead, he's got the experience, and he's got half of England and Ireland rooting for him, because I promise you, Neil Channing is undoubtedly the softest touch in poker. He's been hassled all day. He's got texts from guys who haven't spoken to him for months. There's a queue of guys waiting up to nip this man if he does win.
First hand raise and take it for Neil Channing, and we're going to be seeing a lot of those tonight, I think.
We're going to be seeing loads of them, Jesse, because I was speaking to Neil this morning, and I know his plan is to come out and do this. He thinks that both the short stacks, you know, he might expect to make a panic move, are reasonably conservative, so he doesn't really expect anybody to coming back at him without a big hand. And Neil has told me that, he didn't really have to tell me, because this is his MO, that he's going to try and put the pressure on the guys early on, and if it goes wrong, he may shut up shop. But if it keeps going his way, you can expect to see him raising maybe 3 hands every round at the table.
Well, Donald Norton's in the big blind this hand, Parg, and I mean, as far as table dynamics go, Norton is probably the most dynamic player on the table. He has come here and throughout this tournament showed that he's willing to risk a lot to win.
He certainly has, Jesse. I played with him for a few hours yesterday. I mean, he's not afraid to put a few chips into the pot, and he seems to react very well when it goes wrong. You know, he's not one of these guys that's great at firing chips and then goes completely nuts when it all starts going horribly wrong.
This is the Dutchman.
He's earned his place here on merit.
The Dutchman Tournier from the small blind making a raise, and this is the kind of situation where Norton might decide to make a bit of a move.
Well, whatever you say, Jesse.
He's called from the big blind, in position, with a nice hand to take a flop off with. And
you got there, Dina? You got your 70s and your 7s gone.
Oh, good.
Much more.
That's right.
the blinds are 20 and 40,000, so it was 70,000 more.
Yeah, what you said originally is fine.
Parg, this Edward Tournier, the Dutchman, I mean, the players at the table have him marked as someone who has his eyes on the prize place and might not be willing to gamble.
Well, certainly Channing seems to think, I mean, who knows a lot more about it than I do, that he thinks the guy's a pretty conservative player and that he doesn't mind going short-stacked. He did mention that a couple of the guys who are short-stacked are guys that are more likely to let a few chips go rather than to make a stand with something that they don't really like.
What a slow play from the Irishman. He's checked 3 jacks twice, and this has come perfect because Tournier has now hit the king on the river.
130,000.
Call.
All in? Call.
Look at this! We've just lost a player!
Wow. Oh my God.
Donald shows Jack 10.
And you have to say, Donald Norton, he did this absolutely perfect, Parg.
King 7, so ladies and gentlemen.
He checked it long enough to let the guy get into trouble. But he hit the king.
Tournier check raised on the river, and that was a big gamble, wasn't it? He was going to have a hard time getting paid off with.
Yeah, well, to be honest, there wasn't really any need to check raise on the river. You know, if he thought that Norton was going to bluff, check call was probably more than enough. But, you know, guys get very excited in these situations. It's probably his first ever TV final table. You know, some funny stuff starts to happen. I mean, if you're sitting at home wondering why it's all going on, just try and put yourself in the guy's position. See how you'd feel about it.
4 checks, and then the check raise all in on the river, and check raise out the door. Donald Norton now from Tipperary. He's making a strong statement.
Well, I think he got a bit of help with the statement, Jesse. He didn't write it all himself, but this has changed the whole dynamics of this thing from the Channing procession to... it's now got to the stage where if Norton gets a big hand against Channing, he can severely damage him.
But it was a very bad king on the turn for me. Otherwise I could fold, but now I didn't think he had 2 jacks, so